minute. The man who met the Juggernaut hitting you with the head crush. And you're seeing this live. I haven't been inactive on New Gaming Order for a while. A long, long while. Life, a couple of things have taken priority. And, it is what it is. Trying to get stuff in order with the house. Just paid off my motorcycle, a couple other things, prioritizing with military. I just became a platoon leader, a platoon sergeant for my unit for a short while. So life has taken the forefront. But I am trying to, because I did promise you guys earlier this year, trying to restore things with New Game and Order. But again, life takes priority. So pardon me. I just had Subway. I'm literally still sitting on my motorcycle. I just have my phone mounted and whatnot, so I can do my hands free and all that good stuff. But in any case, um, I was I saw a video and oh man, the reason why I'm doing it live and I'm not doing it via a script or anything is because I think I want to hit on a lot of points here. Now, first and foremost, I'm not trying to be inflammatory, insensitive, or, try to poke the bear. But I will say I am going to actually give some sympathy and pity for the amazing Lucas. And I just got a bunch of stuff. Pardon that. But in any case, what I have just watched. Oh my goodness, my phone's going crazy. Maybe that's the drawback of doing live, but um, I watched the amazing Lucas's video on Sony's customer service. Now, I know, and a lot of new people might, come across this video and not know the history. But for those of you who remember, my Juggernaut persona for back in the day, where it seemed I was anti-Sony. No, I'm anti-Sony's customer service, and I don't want to be like an "I told you so" guy. But Mr. Amazing Lucas, that is the I stopped supporting Sony. They have absolute worst customer service on God's green earth. And this is what's baffling to me is, the user base are turned a blind eye. They turned a blind eye. Sony can do no wrong in their eyes. And with that being said, I'm not going to say I told you so or kick you while you're down and all that, but you experienced something that I went through, I think, right after the PS2 era, going into the PS3. Now, my former associate, Anomaly, he's the only reason why I had a PS3. Now, I had PS2s breaking down on me, and me being a Sony pony, before there was a term called Sony pony, but a Sony supporter, I would like to designate myself. I bought, I think, about in total about 7 PS2s. Now, I had an old friend say that it was, me not taking care of my systems, but anybody that's seen me as a tech head and working in IT, I treat my technology well. Okay? So I didn't really respond to that very well because that friend of mine pretty much was like he sided with Sony and not one of his oldest friends in terms of if I told you that hey, this PS2 went bad on me or whatever, I don't know. There's some people who just had the bad luck and I was one of them. But I gave Sony my money on multiple occasions. I remember my parents bought me the first PlayStation, right? And to me, the controller was similar to SNES and the coloring and schemes. I'm like, oh man, this is like the natural successor to things. I was high school early when that era dawned on us. And then, I went right into the PS2 era. And when I was running into those issues, I called customer service. They pretty much blamed me, telling me, oh, was the systems properly ventilated, so on and so forth. I could run a whole gamut of nonsense similar to what Amazing Lucas was going through. Now, this is a guy who was capping for Sony and all that. Oh, Bethesda got bought out by Microsoft and all of that. And again, I'm not trying to kick you while you're down, but how about it? I've been saying this for the longest. They have the worst customer service on the planet. And I think that that has to do with some of the blind fanboys, the folks that like can give two, organs or whatever. I'm trying to keep it clean because I am live. But you would have people give up kidneys, give up a lung, give up like something, just to sing Sony's praises. And me as a primary Xbox guy, and I wasn't always Xbox. If it wasn't for um Demizzle on free play mode, I would have never known Xbox. I would have just been, you know, in the whole bitching and complaining about Sony's customer service and still purchasing their stuff. I what I say to people, dare to try something different. There are some individuals that no matter how much of a turnaround Phil Spencer has done and Nadala and all that after the crap storm that was Don Matrick, who nearly ran the Xbox brand into the ground, right? These guys, Phil Spencer, there was a moment where they had to really see, hey, are we going to stay in the console business? You know, let's be real. Sony has toppled great and many. Like for instance, Nintendo. Whether y'all know the history or not, they had the partnership with Sony to come up with CD based games for the Nintendo PlayStation. Then Sony came up with that. Oh, we keep 100% of the revenue on CD based games and so on and so forth. They put Nintendo in a precarious corner. And what did Nintendo try to do? And I'm just giving you a summary. Those of you who've seen the documentary know Nintendo wasn't right for it, but Sony didn't really give Nintendo much of an option. So they went with Philips CDI and screwed Sony over. So what were they gonna do? They're like, all right, screw this. We're gonna go ahead and repurpose this SNES add-on as a separate PlayStation, right? So going forward, Sony it is, started it was on fire. They're taking over, and poor Sega. I mean, anybody who known with the Sega Saturn, that was the true fighting game system. Like literally, it wasn't there were ports of games that were not arcade perfect, but superior. Good example. You had Marvel Superheroes on the Saturn that had like parallaxing and almost 3D backgrounds for those games that you couldn't find in the arcade, right? Again, my point being, without going on a tangent, is when Sony started showing me how poor their customer service was, I was just like, you know what? There has to be something else out there. I was a big Sega fan. Dreamcast, Saturn. I had emulators for the Sega CD because I actually luckily had the original CDs for Mortal Kombat with the extra music tracks or whatever and all that good stuff. And it's like I say to the Sony ponies out there, or the Sony zealots out there, try something different. Now, again, I come from a PlayStation background, and I was originally a Nintendo guy. I grew up. Nintendo didn't really grow up with me, so I grew away. You know, and Sony had the more mature content I was looking for, so naturally I went there. And then again, I ran into my customer service woes, which said, "Say, hey, you know what, Alex? Why don't you, try something else?" I, started really dabbling in like with the Saturn, and once I got my Sega Saturn, I was like, there are games that run way better by far than the PlayStation. Hence, Capcom versus SNK 1. That was trash on the PlayStation. Period. Period. And any fanboy that decides to say, "Oh yeah, PlayStation. Go play X-Men versus Street Fighter on the PlayStation. Go play Alpha 3 on the PlayStation, and then play the Saturn version. Yeah, I heard a comment like, "Oh well, PlayStation was always the home of fighters." No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. That goes to show anybody that makes a comment like that needs to understand that you're probably not old enough to know what consoles were true hardcore fighting game machines. So, with that being said, just throwing some history in there. But that was my journey. I didn't have the greatest experience with Sony's customer service. Now, Amazing Lucas got bit by the same bug that I got bit with all those years ago. That's why I had an open heart to try Sega. I had an open heart to try Microsoft. You know, I remember I hate to say it, but shout out to John Cena. He's like he had a promo where he said, people may hate him to for experimenting, but he tries everything. Okay, don't be that type of gamer where I'm only gonna own one. Like I have a PS4 upstairs. I have my Series X. I have, you know, I was a day one PS Vita owner. I had the unboxing on this channel. Okay, I said to myself, you know what? If it's something good, I will support it. And Microsoft has made mistakes that I called them out on. Like for instance, the DRM. They need to fix that. They need to fix that. Period. Period. Okay. If I'm offline or whatever, I couldn't even start my Control Ultimate Edition. And it's like, look, if 9 times out of 10, if somebody said, "What system will you or brand you'll go with?" I will go with Microsoft in a heartbeat. 100%. Last generation kind of sucked because of poor mismanagement and mistakes of Don Matrick. But prior to that, the 360, I don't care what anybody says, even with the PS3 surging at the end, the 360 with the red rings of death was kicking Sony's teeth in left and right. And they know it. They know it. And people don't want to hear it. And shout out to Doc Dark because I am a gamer. I've been gaming since more than some people have been alive who are fighting this fight, you know? And I can say this, when it boils down to it, you gotta try everything. Try everything. And with how things are going with Sony and their customer service, I think that at the end of the day, you have to. I'm big on integrity, character, how you treat your fellow men. And if they treated Amazing Lucas like that, how do you think some of those zealots and Sony ponies who inevitably will find themselves in that same circumstance, same predicament, and expecting like, oh yeah, Sony's gonna look out for me. I spend money here. Now flip it around with Microsoft and the red rings of death, right? And then if with refunds and so on and so forth, Microsoft does leaps and bounds better. They have a better response or better conflict resolution in the Microsoft brand when it comes to that stuff, I'm telling you, Microsoft would have handled that better, easily, yeah, and no mistaking about it. So, I would just say this to Mr. Amazing Lucas: welcome to the club. Now, I will call you and Crap Gamer out and MBG and all those guys who are like steadfast crapping on the Xbox brand because they had some issues. But what company didn't? Sony screwed up with the PS3 and they were forgiven. Microsoft has been trying to do damage control and try to really work things to become consumer friendly because they had no choice. They had no choice. But with that being said, Amazing Lucas and anybody else, if you really want to see what Sony is about, hit them up on that customer service and see what's up. You'll see, like I did many years ago, why I don't put Sony first. I don't put Sony first. They're really about their money and not about their user base. And it took a die-hard Sony pony, and I'm not celebrating for that because it what happened with Amazing Lucas is almost like Neo waking up from the Matrix, having the digital world, dream world, draped over your eyes to blind you from the truth. Sony is just sticking their syringes in you, and not really offering the best in terms of, yeah. Don't get me wrong, Game of the Year contenders, and they had all the exclusives because Microsoft was on the skid, but that's about to change, and y'all know it. And you know what? With Doc Dark and all of y'all who are like saying to him, "Oh, you're not a gamer. You're not a gamer." Mm. I would say more someone like MBG is not a gamer who can crap on a game like Crackdown 3, although average at best, mediocre at best, but trashing a game that he never played. Never played. But oh, I can call it trash. Like, look, I tell you this before I end up this video because it's running a little longer than usual. I was playing the Mega Man X collection, right? I was on volume 2, and I was hearing that Mega Man X7 was like the worst of the bunch. Now, some people can say, hey, it might be in some people's opinion, but I enjoyed it. The 3D sections weren't all that great, don't get me wrong, but when I compare the graphic style to Mega Man X7 to Mega Man X8, X7 was better. I like Mega Man X7 better than Mega Man X8. Period. Unpopular decision, but that's how I feel about it. I played it. I played it. I didn't listen to the critics or people like MBG crapping on something that never played it. I would say, hey, let me check it out before I have any opinion. It's not fair to people. So with that being said, the man, the myth, the juggernaut. I might be coming back to do podcasts and stuff, but hey, I might start doing more of these live things. But rate, comment, subscribe. And then I'm working on my Gokin for my Mugen guys. So we'll see some stuff. But actually, I disagree. MBG with that one thing, Nick. I might link it in the video, in the description of the video. But it is what it is. I'm signing off. I'll see y'all later. Peace.